Slim, what it do? What the sneakers? Appreciate that donation, bro. Keisha was popping. There's gonna be a lot of shit in this live. Me doing whatever the fuck I want to do, basically, in this live. I'm gonna talk about a lot of shit. I'm gonna whatever I want to do, this way it's gonna be. I ain't gonna shortchange y'all because everybody ain't here. They gonna have to catch the playback. Because most likely they gonna do it anyway, because all these niggas been catching the playback, stealing information. Bruh, if you basically want to say the same shit I just said, my nigga, I would prefer for you to go back to your weak ass channel and say the same exact shit that I said, instead of you going back to your weak ass channel trying to act like you don't agree with me, but you really literally agreeing with everything I'm saying. I'm not one of them niggas that spread false shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not CNN, I'm not the FBI, I'm not your local news, I'm not worldwide news.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, god damn it, I'm not.
Slim, what it do? What the sneakers? Appreciate that donation, bro. Keisha was popping. There's gonna be a lot of shit in this live. Me doing whatever the fuck I want to do, basically, in this live. I'm gonna talk about a lot of shit. I'm gonna whatever I want to do, this way it's gonna be. I ain't gonna shortchange y'all because everybody ain't here. They gonna have to catch the playback. Because most likely they gonna do it anyway, because all these niggas been catching the playback, stealing information. Bruh, if you basically want to say the same shit I just said, my nigga, I would prefer for you to go back to your weak ass channel and say the same exact shit that I said, instead of you going back to your weak ass channel trying to act like you don't agree with me, but you really literally agreeing with everything I'm saying. I'm not one of them niggas that spread false shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not CNN, I'm not the FBI, I'm not your local news, I'm not worldwide news.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, god damn it, I'm not.
What's good, bro? Shout out everybody to this motherfucker. Coco TV was good. And the balls was good. Robo was popping. Key was good. Slim was good, bro. Shout out to everybody that's in this motherfucker, bro. I'm off a little bit. I'm off a little bit. I ain't gonna say off a little bit. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm a little distracted. You know what I'm saying? I went for the raffle on them Jordan 2s and I didn't hit for them on either one of the raffles. So I got a little bit distracted. I checked that shit before I went live. D-Mac was good. Keisha was good, man. Shout out to everybody in this motherfucker, even if you didn't fucking speak with your no home trying to have an ass.
Hello, motherfucker.
All right, so look, last night we were talking about Young Thug, right, and how JT, bigger figure, went on and exposed what he knew about Nut murder, and everybody in the street. He said everybody in the street saying that Thug had something to do with it. This was back in 2015. So basically, it's not even a RICO charge, bro. Right? Basically, what they bringing Thug up on is conspiracy to commit murder, or even just plotting on somebody murder or some shit, or making somebody else to commit the murder. So I don't want this whole fucking RICO shit come from. I'm saying it is what it is, what it do, bro. I want it. All right, so look, we got footage, bro. We're gonna watch this. This footage was sent to me. It was sent to me. Let me let my camera down. So it was sent to me today. You know what I'm saying? This footage sent to me probably a couple hours ago. One of the YSL members has agreed to testify against Young Thug. You know what I'm saying? Jeff was good, bro. He agreed to testify against Young Thug. But the shit that, man, it's like the shit that he's saying or he agreeing to with the prosecutor, bro, Young Thug is not getting out of jail. I'm just gonna go and let y'all know that. You know what I'm saying? Before y'all even watch the video, Thug is not getting out of jail. Thug is about to get a life sentence. Like, he is not getting out unless he get pardoned by a future president or something. It is over with for him. You know what I'm saying? This a long ass, this is a trial. This his trial. This is a plea trial, basically. This is a plea agreement, or this is him trying to get a plea agreement. And he said he's willing to snitch on every goddamn thing that he knows to get a plea agreement. But he still, after all this, he still gets sentenced. Like, after he do all this snitching, he still gets sentenced by the judge. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they show you sentencing. Fuck it, let's just watch the shit, because the shit long. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be tapping in and out with my opinions on the shit, and we're gonna watch the shit because this shit crazy, man. Like, we thought like Gunna did some snitching. Nah, these niggas really doing fucking snitching. These folks is really fucking snitching, bro. Like, trying to get out of jail, and it's not happening. Like, this nigga still get fucking sent, and Thug is not getting out of jail because you getting more and more niggas come up with, oh, he said this, shit, I got something better. You know what I'm saying? If you can get me out this bitch, I got something better than what he told y'all. That's basically what the fuck they doing. I'm gonna play this shit. Let me make sure my audio and shit, right. You said that Rico hit different. Man, I know that shit hit different, bro, but the shit that they, man, come on, bro. Like, certain shit, like, nigga, if you incriminate yourself, you going to jail for. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain shit. I guess because niggas feel like dude got off on the conspiracy to commit murder shit, he got off with the whole 15 years of papers. They thought they could do the same shit, man. But, man, these white folks, man, playing the shit out these folks. I'm just going to play the shit, man. Fuck it.
All right, we're on the record in the matter of the state of Georgia versus Antonio Sledge in 22 SC 183572.
Hey, you might have turned your phone on. This shit kind of low.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wright.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sledge.
Good afternoon, y'all.
And good afternoon, councils Love and Hilton. Okay, councils, I understand this is supposed to be a negotiated plea. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge.
All right, Mr. Sledge, can I get you to raise your right hand as best you're able?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give in the matter now in hearing should be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God, or so affirm?
Yes, I do.
All right, you put your hand down, sir. All right. Mr. Sledge, over the next several minutes, what's going to happen is we're going to go through such a thing called the provincy inquiry. So basically, in our system of jurisprudence, we don't force people to plead guilty. So I have to be assured you understand your constitutional rights and that you freely and voluntarily waive those rights so I can go ahead and sentence you. The second thing it does is we go through a factual basis, and I determine if there's a factual basis that the state would have been able to prove in this case beyond a reasonable doubt had they tried the case. So assuming that I find that you understand your rights, we call it the Boykin inquiry. And then the second thing is, then I find that there's a factual basis I can accept your plea. So, ladies, which one of you is going to do the plea?
I am, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Love is going to go and ask you a series of questions in just a minute. And then your attorney, Mr. Wright, will follow up with that. And then I'll ask you a couple of questions, and I should be able to sentence you in accordance with the negotiated plea, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Ms. Love, whenever you're ready, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Hey.
Hey, bullshit with the commercials. Dog definitely finna get a long ass time in jail, Keisha. I don't know what you talking about.
Please state your true, correct, and
Hey,
legal.
dog finna get after this nigga here, after this nigga here testimony, dog finna get life. They probably finna put his ass under jail. This nigga gonna tell everything he know.
Legal name.
Antonio Sledge.
And are you the same Antonio Sledge, also known as Moontump, who is listed in indictment 22SC 183572?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you at this time taking or under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medication?
No, ma'am.
Is there any medication that you normally take that you have not been given today?
No, ma'am.
How old are you and how far have you gone in school?
I'm 41, 10th grade.
Are you able to read, write, and understand the
Oh, he dumb as a bitch anyway. He 41 years old. In the highest grade he completed was 10th grade. Oh, you a follower. You a follower. You definitely can't get nothing but street money. You know what I'm saying? So any nigga that got some money, you a do boy. You know what I'm saying? What the sneakers appreciate that donation to the super chat, my guy. indictment. Well, this nigga said young snitch life. Ain't nothing young about this nigga. This nigga 41 years old. Ain't nothing young. You said they gonna need them new you gonna need them testimonies. I found out Georgia blew 54 RICO cases out of 60. Man, look here. This different. This is when they got 17 motherfuckers pointing the finger at you saying you did some shit. Jay Stoner was good. Man said, why is tail? Hey, man, this shit I heard wow. This nigga said he 41, the highest grade he completed was 10 grade. Oh, nigga, you was doomed from the start, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You said, what a 40-year-old doing around them youngsters? Right, that's what I'm saying anyway. Well, I don't know, because Thug got niggas from the age. How old Thug? Thug about 30, he about 32, some shit like that. How old young Thug is? Let me look this shit up. Bullshit, I don't know what the fuck I type here. Thug 31. And I think the youngest nigga, you said without them 17, they'll have nothing. That's what I'm saying. Shit. Without them, they got 17 niggas. Bro, I'm telling you, Keisha, have you seen this? I'm gonna ask you, Keisha, have you seen this nigga testimony? Have you seen this video? He said, fuck the age, these niggas that snitching at a rapid rate. And it's gonna only get worse. Hell yeah. Nigga don't want to see no type of time. If you haven't seen, look, let me tell you something. Keisha, if you haven't seen this nigga testimony, you said, yeah, you just watched it. That's what I'm saying. Thug ain't getting out of jail at all.
English language.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you are charged with the following offenses?
Yes, ma'am.
Conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act,
Yes, ma'am.
as well as possession of a firearm by a convicted felon,
Yes,
as
ma'am.
listed in count 30 of this indictment.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not?
He's a convicted felon. That's 10 years for having a pistol. He said, so dude was around $1 million and all he wanted to do was crime. Make it make sense. It don't. You 41 years old. Should be stacking that money, getting away from that shit. You know what I'm saying? That let you know he was a major player because they got his name on the fucking indictment papers. That means that you was around them folks all the damn time.
Guilty to these charges, and that if you plead not guilty or remain silent, you may receive a jury trial.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had enough time to speak with your attorney, Mr. Derek Wright, about all of the facts and circumstances known to you regarding the charges in this indictment?
Yes, ma'am.
Any potential defenses?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you need more time to discuss this case with your attorney?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with his services?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive a formal reading of the indictment?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive any and all defects in the indictment, including any with respect to your name?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you been arrested on these charges?
Yes, ma'am.
The state is unaware of any outstanding warrants related to these charges. Do you, Mr. Wright, know of any outstanding warrants that are related to these charges?
I do not.
Mr.
How the fuck you his attorney and you're not aware of any outstanding warrants related to the charges he's held? Nigga, if you're his attorney, you're supposed to know about every fucking thing. Anything that has any type of paperwork that got his name in it, that will get him indicted.
Sledge, has your attorney advised you of the minimum and maximum sentence for each charge that you are pleading guilty to
Yes,
today?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that the minimum sentence for conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act is 5 years and the maximum is 20 years in prison?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that the sentence for violation of count 30 of this indictment, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, as in OCGA 1611-133, is 15 years in prison?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that this is a negotiated plea of guilty,
Yes, ma'am.
which means that the state will recommend to the court the following sentence.
Yes, ma'am.
But folks, hold up, because he gets sentenced anyway for snitching. He's still finna get a sentence. He finna get sentenced for snitching. Know what I'm saying? But look, check this shit out. Hey, if y'all motherfuckers, bro, if y'all think they read some shit out, she read some shit out when she read that shit for Gunner, man, wait till she read the shit out for this snitching ass nigga.
As to count 1, 15 years to serve.
What are you doing today to change your mood? Me?
Man, stop playing.
On probation, subject.
Hold up, 15 count to serve. What, 15 years on probation? What he say?
Do you understand that this is a negotiated plea of guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Which means that the state will recommend to the court the following sentence.
Yes, ma'am.
As to count 1, 15 years to serve on probation, subject to the special conditions contained in the plea agreement that I have in my hand that I will show you in just a moment. And on count 30, although you are pleading guilty, sentencing will be withheld until the completion of the initial trial of this case. After the initial trial of this case, provided defendant you have complied with the special conditions outlined in sections B, C, D, F, and I of section 3, special conditions of sentence of this plea agreement, the state agrees that the defendant shall be allowed to withdraw his guilty plea on count 30, and the state shall agree to null pros count 30. Do you understand that the court does not have to accept that recommendation? And we will read into the record the terms of the plea agreement in a moment. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that the court can sentence you to the maximum on each charge and can run those sentences consecutively or one after the other if the court does not accept that negotiated plea?
Yes, ma'am.
So you tell me this nigga can snitch and say whatever the fuck he want to say, and the court can be like, nah, that ain't enough information for us, nigga. You gonna do them 15 years on paper, and you gonna do such and such time and shit. That shit don't make shit, bro. That shit don't make sense at all. You said there's no way he gets over 10 year probation. He can stay free. Yes, he will. 41. That nigga gonna stay clean because he gonna be scared in the bitch. But I don't know though, because you 41, you dropped out of school in 10th grade. You gotta do some illegal shit if you don't want to work fast food. Because you barely gonna be able to get a fucking factory job. If you a real man, get married, get a job in no order. I don't know about the get married part, but get a job. Or a hustle that can have consistent money coming in that's legal. You said, so wait, this nigga can snitch and still get time? But yes, he get 15 years on paper for snitching. And they can say, this is not enough information you giving us, nigga. You still gonna go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say I want y'all to read off the shit that he's snitching about, the shit that he agreeing to, and y'all be like, what the fuck? Nigga, you willing to railroad somebody else for you? Man, like, come on, they couldn't have. Only way this nigga is snitching if he the nigga committed. Look, the shit that he read now, like 15 years, and then 15 years on paper, and they tell you they can give you more time. The only way this nigga snitching if he the nigga that pulled the trigger. That's the only way you supposed to be snitching. Cause this nigga finna, man, bro, come on, let me play this shit. I don't want to tell y'all. I got a sort of video, but I want y'all to watch the whole fucking thing so y'all can feel the way I motherfucking feel. I want to watch what led up. I want y'all to get all the information. So now we on the same page now. Even though he finna snitch, he still finna get 15 years on paper, and they can add some more time if the judge feel like that's not enough information. So now we on the same page. So that's why I didn't show y'all the sort of video and skip the bullshit. We all gonna get on the same page with this shit. Y'all gonna feel the way I feel about this shit.
Do you understand that if you are currently on probation or parole, your probation or parole may be revoked based on your entering a guilty plea today, but that the state is not recommending either?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that this plea may be used to enhance sentencing on other convictions in this jurisdiction, as well as in other jurisdictions, including in the federal courts?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that this is a guilty plea, which is permanently recorded on your criminal history?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that this plea involves your being placed on probation, and that if you are placed on probation of any kind, you cannot violate any criminal laws of any governmental unit or any special condition of probation without being subject to revocation for the balance of the sentence? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you are not allowed to use or possess a firearm while on probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you are not a United States citizen, a guilty plea will affect your immigration status and will result in deportation, just like a conviction at trial would, and that this is true regardless of any advice given to you by your attorney or anyone else?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if at any time you are sentenced to confinement based on this sentence, neither the court, your attorney, nor the district attorney's office has anything to do with parole? And that in that circumstance, the Department of Corrections or Board of Pardons and Paroles
Yes, ma'am.
are the only persons who can address parole, and that no one can guarantee parole, no matter what anyone has told you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that there may be other adverse or unfavorable consequences as a result of this guilty plea conviction, just as there would be from a conviction following a trial? For example, your
This nigga don't understand a goddamn thing she's saying. All he's standing saying is yes, ma'am, because he think he can put on papers. Let's be honest, bro. Like, come on now. Let's straight to the fucking point. Y'all know how I am. I don't sugarcoat shit. This nigga 41, dropped out of school, 10th grade, dumb as a bitch. Probably don't understand most big words he hear. You know what I'm saying? This nigga is just basically saying yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Because all he thinking in his head is, I'm finna get on papers and get out this bitch. That's all he fucking thinking. Oh God, 6'9", loving this shit right now. Loving it.
guilty plea may affect your right to vote, your right to hold public office, your right to serve on a jury, your right to obtain a passport, your right to receive, possess, or transport a firearm, and your right or ability to obtain employment. Do you understand that these rights may be affected?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty to a felony, if you use, receive, possess, or transport a firearm, or use a firearm in a crime, you will be guilty of another felony, which may carry a sentence of 1 to 15 years in prison?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you waive any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses, by entering a plea of guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you went to trial, you would have the right to trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and confront witnesses called to testify against you, and the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you are giving up the following rights: the right to a trial by jury, the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself, the right to confront witnesses against you, the right to the assistance of counsel hired by you or to court-appointed counsel if you cannot afford an attorney at a trial of your case, the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to testify on your own behalf and to present other evidence, the right to subpoena witnesses and compel the production of evidence, the right to have the charges against you proven beyond a reasonable doubt, and the right to appeal if convicted of these charges after a trial. Do you understand that you are giving up all of these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm showing you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 1AS. Do you recognize the document in State's Exhibit 1AS?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that your signature on page 7 of 7 of State's Exhibit 1AS?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, actually, and Mr. Sledge, have you had an opportunity to review each and every provision within State's Exhibit 1AS?
Yes, ma'am.
As reflected on State's Exhibit 1AS, the current charges that you face are count 1, conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, and count 30, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon previously convicted of a felony involving the use or possession of a firearm, OCGA 16-11-133. The negotiated sentence as outlined in State's 1AS is count 1, 15 years on probation, and count 30, sentencing withheld until the completion of the initial trial of this case. After the initial trial of this
I can't get over when they say this shit. 15 years on paper, and he still could be sentenced after the trial over with. Are y'all hearing that shit the way I'm hearing it? Are y'all hearing it the way this is a replay, Fresh Kicks? Are y'all hearing this shit like I'm hearing this shit? 15 years on paper, and then he could turn around after the trial is over with, be sentenced again. It don't make sense. You giving up too much.
case, provided defendant has complied with the special conditions outlined in section B as in boy, C as in Charlie, D as in Delta, F as in Frank, I as in Indigo of section 3 special conditions of sentence of this plea agreement. The state agrees that defendant shall be allowed to withdraw his guilty plea on count 30, and the state shall agree to null pros count 30. The special conditions of the sentence, as outlined in section 3, are that defendant shall abide in full by each and all of the terms of this negotiated agreement. Defendant's failure to abide by any term of this agreement shall constitute a violation of the agreement. Defendant shall testify truthfully about all matters relating to this case upon which he is questioned at any trial or judicial proceeding stemming from the facts alleged in this indictment.
Oh, they just hit his ass with ain't no plead the fifth. They just hit his ass with that. Ain't no plead the fifth, nigga. You must plead, goddamn, everything you know, you must tell us truthfully. Or this shit that we put in effect, goddamn it, is null and void, nigga. We need to know every goddamn thing. And then they gonna read off everything they take, man. I ain't gonna fuck. I don't want to tell y'all the end this shit, but if you thought Gunner shit was bad when they read his shit out, let them keep reading shit for this nigga.
In accordance with testifying truthfully about all matters relating to this case, defendant acknowledges that each and all of the statements contained within the defendant's factual acknowledgments section of this agreement are true. Defendant shall testify truthfully about each statement contained within defendant's factual acknowledgments and any matters related to this case when asked to do so in any proceeding related to the facts alleged in this indictment. Defendant shall possess no guns unless his right to do so is restored. Defendant shall commit no criminal acts. Defendant shall submit to random drug screenings by the Department of Community Supervision and any agency designated by the court in this case. Should the defendant test positive for any Schedule 1, 2, or 3 drug, defendant shall within 30 days of said positive test undergo drug rehabilitation as designated by the court or the Department of Community Supervision and shall successfully complete said rehabilitation program. Defendant relinquishes any Fifth Amendment right related to any statement contained within defendant's factual acknowledgments contained within this plea agreement. Section 4, defendant's factual acknowledgments. Have you initialed each and all of the defendant's factual acknowledgments contained within section 4 of this document?
Yes, ma'am.
I knew it.
And is that initial?
Did you agree to all this bullshit I just read out, nigga? That even if you snitch right now, nigga, we taking your whole life. You still gonna get locked up when we feel like what you telling us ain't good enough to lock Thug up. Yes, ma'am. Man, stupid as hell. He said this man gonna be 60 pissing in the cup for his PR. Man, he came, you know, look, the nigga for 15 years, damn, 55. Well, he's 41, so 56. Nigga gonna be 50. Nigga can't smoke no weed. He can't smoke no weed. He can't pop no pill. He can't Can he smoke? He can't smoke CBD. CBD making niggas come up hot now. Sound like the courts is setting him up to be clipped in jail. Clipped in jail. Now, look, you ain't heard it. Look, this nigga getting 15 years on papers if just to snitch, just for them to hear him out. You know what I'm saying? Nigga getting 15 years on paper just for the court to hear him out what information he got. And if they feel like the information ain't good enough, they can be like, after the trial over, after thugs and shit get sentenced, he can get sentenced again. Like, the information you didn't give us good enough, nigga, you going to jail for such and such long. Nigga, what the fuck I'm a snitch for then?
AS, your initial.
Yes, ma'am.
He pled guilty to snitch. He pled guilty. He pled guilty to those charges. That's a guilty plea. He pled guilty to be able to fucking be a witness. You know what I'm saying? For him to get out of jail and be on 15 years of papers, he has to be a witness against Thug. He has to be. You know what I'm saying? You don't see the title where it say YSL gang member will testify against Young Thug about and others about murders and shootings. He had to. He can't understand what he agreeing to. Hey, he don't. That's what I'm saying. He 41 years old and his ass dropped out in 10th grade. He don't. All he knows is a life of crime. That nigga don't understand what they saying. He just saying, yes, ma'am. Because he think he finna get papers and get out. I think he gonna be free outside the walls to do whatever. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You understand? Yes, ma'am. Did you initial? Yes, ma'am. He don't fucking understand none of that shit. He just saying, yes, ma'am, to get his ass out of motherfucking jail, out of that jumpsuit, back at the street clothes. You say he do, his lawyer told him he ain't broke it down to him enough. Trust me, he ain't broke it down to enough. And he said his lawyer looking like you dumb ass. Man, his lawyer sitting there like he ready for this shit to be over with. He got that facial expression. You know what I'm saying? He got that facial expression like he just ready for this shit to be over with, man. How long we gonna keep sitting in this motherfucker? The nigga said he gonna snitch, take 15 years on paper, and if y'all don't like what he's saying, shit, y'all can lock him up again. He agreeing to the shit. He said this nigga snitching. You say this nigga just a snitch. That's what I'm saying. He snitching just a snitch, bro. That's what the fuck I'm saying. Like you take a 15, you snitch on yourself. Okay, bam, cool. You snitch on yourself, you get 15 years. Okay, I agree to it. I was part of the racketeering shit. We was a gang. Okay, bam, I'm convicted felon. I had a firearm. You snitched on yourself, y'all get 15 years on paper. Bet. But the only way you getting that 15 years on paper if you testify against Thug. But guess what? That 15 years is null and void if we feel like the information you got ain't shit. Man, ain't no sense of fucking snitching. You might want to take your 10 for being a convicted felon with a firearm and fight the other shit. Because you were not the leader. You know what I'm saying? You was not a head man. You know what I'm saying? Right hand man, none of that shit. Fight that shit.
As follows. Number 1, section 4 of this document.
Yes, ma'am.
And is that initial AS your initial?
Yes, ma'am.
The factual acknowledgments are as follows. Number 1, Young Slime Life, aka YSL, is an organization made up of 3 or more members or associates who share common identifiers that include, but are not limited to, colors, hand signals, and terminology, who have committed crimes intended to increase the notoriety, street credibility, and reputation of YSL. Number 2, defendant has been a member and or associate of YSL since 2012. Number 3, while associated with YSL and to support and express loyalty to YSL, defendant and co-defendant Demikion Garlington and Quindarius Zachary appeared in a video with another person, AS, where defendant brandished a weapon used in a drive-by shooting, and where on behalf of YSL, defendant threatened to harm a person named Kel, a rival gang member who had begun a relationship with defendant's ex-girlfriend. Number 4.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold up. So they got him on charges of trying to commit a drive-by on a nigga that knocked his gal down? That one dog, that's what I said. So you You just agreed that you guilty on doing a drive-by on a nigga that slept with your girlfriend. And y'all say he got some money saved up. Any nigga with some money ain't, nigga be like, fuck that bitch. Nigga is not finna do all that type of shit. Well, I don't know, because that nigga did kill Trouble. But a nigga with some money gonna be like, fuck that bitch, and go on about his goddamn business. Any little money, couple thousand, gonna be moving on to the next bitch. Ain't no way. And I'm not agreeing to that shit in court. I'm not even doing that shit, but I'm saying I'm not even gonna agree to that shit in court. So you wait a minute. So you telling me, you said, and then they met up at McDonald's. But McDonald's ain't the nigga house. Keisha, stop telling the story, because you got me telling the goddamn story. I said, yes, tender dick. That's what he is.
On or about April 28, 2015, as reflected in Fulton County Indictment 15SC 138994, defendant and fellow YSL associates Demekion Garlington and Quindarius Zachary committed a drive-by shooting using the firearm defendant wielded in the video referenced in Part 3 of this section, targeting family members of a rival gang. Number 5, defendant and his fellow YSL associates committed the drive-by shooting referenced in sections 3 and 4 above on behalf of YSL and to increase the notoriety, reputation, and fear of YSL. Number 6, defendant admitted committing and was convicted of aggravated assault and participation in criminal street gang activity, among other charges, for his participation in the drive-by shooting referenced in sections 3, 4, and 5 above. Number 7, defendant was told by another YSL associate that immediately after the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr., YSL associates met at the McDonald's on Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia, to discuss the murder. Number 8, defendant.
This nigga didn't just snitch on Young Thug. This nigga snitched on another nigga. This nigga said that. That's what I told y'all. Them niggas saying, oh, he told you some shit. I'm back to tell you some better shit than he did to get out this motherfucker. That's basically what they doing. Motherfucker, look, this nigga said that he admitted to law enforcement that he met up with a nigga that told him that they committed the murder, and they sat down at McDonald's, had a Big Mac and a Happy Meal or some shit while they talked about it. So you know he had to tell them the name of the nigga that told him that he shot him. So now what they're gonna do is go after the nigga that supposedly committed the murder, and that nigga gonna snitch on Thug too. Yes, this my dog. Yes, this is what this about. This is what this whole Young Thug Rico trial is about. The Big Nut murder in 2015. They want Thug, but Thug was the one that pulled the trigger. Thug wasn't the one that pulled the trigger, but they want Thug for the murder. So this is what the whole Rico shit is about. You know what I'm saying? Which we last night, if you was in here last night in the live, I showed y'all JT, Bigger Figure, he was cool with YSL and he was cool with YFN. He was cool with Nut. Nut was his partner. Nut and Young Thug fell out because Birdman wanted to sign Rich Homie Quan, and Nut told him don't do it because that's a 360 deal. He didn't want him to be a broke ass rapper under Birdman. So that what led to the whole Rich Gang split. But JT Bigger Figure stayed with Rich Gang, stayed with Cash Money, and was relaying all the information about the Cash Money, whatever they was doing, to Nut. And that what led between the beef between Nut and Thug. You know what I'm saying? Which that's some bitch ass middleman back and forth, both sides playing ass shit that JT was fucking doing. If you fuck with Nut and them, nigga, go fuck with Nut and them. Why the fuck is you over there and Cash Money's telling Nut about his fucking business? You know what I'm saying? That was like some female ass shit. So and already JT Bigger Figure the one that got Nut killed. You know what I'm saying? Because even if Slim had Nut killed, that still wasn't gonna guarantee that Quan was gonna sign with Birdman. You said Rich Homie ended up suing the label. That's what I'm saying. And but that see Kia sign. That goes back to the reason why a lot of people been wondering why Young Thug and Rich Homie fell out, like they don't fuck with each other no more. Then everybody was wondering why the fuck, you know what I'm saying, Lucci and Thug were beefing and shit. All that shit is starting to come out during this fucking trial. You know what I'm saying? If you weren't in Atlanta at the time all this shit happened, you wouldn't understand all these fucking beefs they got. You know what I'm saying? No, Terry was good. Back to you said the lady Fanny, the prosecutor promised Lil Mama she would find his killers and get justice. She ain't have to find two, because the motherfucker, she had to find shit because the streets already knew when he did it. The streets already knew. You said no wonder Rich Homie dipped out. Now he coming back out. I don't think that had nothing to do with it. He had been playing. He had been, you know what I'm saying? He had been dropping music still. Shit just ain't just been hot. He was like, P said everybody know why Lucci and Thug were beefing. I ain't gonna say everybody, because I didn't know up until like 6 months ago. So I ain't gonna say everybody. He said, yeah, bro, them niggas different. Okay, back to the trial.
Defendant personally knows that one or more YSL associates committed the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr. on behalf of YSL. Number 9, on January the 10th, 2015, after the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr., defendant and other YSL associates gathered at the home of Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, who gave defendant and other YSL associates cash money to lay low. Number 10, defendant has personal knowledge.
This nigga just said that after the murder, they met up at Young Thug's house and Young Thug gave them money to lay low. He just said that shit to the police, bro.
That one or more YSL associates committed the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr. on behalf of YSL. Number 9, on January the 10th, 2015, after the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr., defendant and other YSL associates gathered at the home of Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, who gave defendant and other YSL associates cash money to lay low. Number 10, defendant has personal knowledge that on January 10, 2015, after the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr., YSL associates traveled to Miami, Florida with co-defendant and YSL founder Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug. Number 11, defendant did not murder Donovan Thomas Jr. and was not a party to the crime. Number 12, defendant did not murder Shamel Drinks and was not a party to the crime. Number 13, defendant.
Planning a family?
Oh.
Check your sperm count. You can test.
Hell no, I don't give a fuck about nobody's sperm count.
Not truthfully assert that the persons charged in this indictment with the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr. are not guilty of the murder, and defendant will make no attempt at trial, prior to trial, or after trial to exonerate the persons charged in this indictment with the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr. Number 14, the gas station at 151 Cleveland Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia, is one of multiple locations where YSL associates sell drugs and do not allow other gangs to operate. Number 15, the gas station at 221 Cleveland Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia, is another location where YSL associates sell drugs and do not permit other gangs to operate. Number 16, defendant has personal knowledge that he and other members or associates of YSL have either participated in or directly committed at least one of the following crimes in order to increase the notoriety and reputation of YSL: murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault, attempted murder, theft, illegal gun possession, and illegal drug possession and sales. Mr. Sledge.
Can we get a list of what the nigga didn't snitch on? Like, what the fuck he didn't tell the police? That's what the list, it'll be shorter. Can we get a list of what he fucking didn't tell? This nigga sure even talking about, man, listen to all the shit he said they had their hands in. Murder, shootings, drug possession, drug trafficking. This nigga told every fucking thing. He said, bro, this can't be life. This shit is true. We was amazed about the Gunner situation. Everything that Gunner fucking snitched on, shit. This boy shitted on Gunner. He shined on this one, on everything. He the goat of snitching.
Location where YSL associates sell drugs and do not permit other gangs to operate. YSL associates sell drugs and do not allow other gangs to operate. Further, and defendant will make no attempt at trial, prior to trial, or after trial to exonerate the persons charged in this indictment with the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr. Number 14, the gas station at 151 Cleveland Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia is one of multiple locations where YSL associates sell drugs and do not allow other gangs to operate. Number 15, the gas station at 221 Cleveland Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia is another location where YSL associates sell drugs and do not permit other gangs to operate. Number 16, defendant has personal knowledge that he and other members or associates of YSL have either participated in or directly committed at least one of the following crimes in order to increase the notoriety and reputation of YSL: murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault, attempted murder.
Well, not only did he say these folks sell dope and won't let nobody else sell dope in their territory, this nigga said that he know that they committed murder. He know that they committed attempted murder and they committed armed robbery. What the fuck is this guy? Like, I'm saying, like, who is he in rank to where they will believe everything he fucking saying? I know he's 41 years old, but do he got any rank in YSL for them to believe everything he fucking saying? Cause this nigga, it's like basically he's saying everything that they want him to say to prove that they a gang. Let me start this shit a little further back because I gotta hear it again.
Persons charged in this indictment with the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr. Number 14, the gas station at 151 Cleveland Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia is one of multiple locations where YSL associates sell drugs and do not allow other gangs to operate. Number 15, the gas station at 221 Cleveland Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia is another location where YSL associates sell drugs and do not permit other gangs to operate. Number 16, defendant has personal knowledge that he and other members or associates of YSL have either participated in or directly committed at least one of the following crimes in order to increase the notoriety and reputation of YSL: murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault, attempted murder, theft, illegal gun possession, and illegal drug possession and sales. Mr. Sledge, have you had an opportunity to go over each one of the defendant's factual acknowledgments and make corrections where necessary?
Yes.
And do you,
Oh man, she said, did you get to go over the paperwork and make corrections where necessary? That nigga said yes. She should have asked that, do you have another place of residence in another state that your ass can lay your head, because they about to kill you, nigga.
And do you now acknowledge under oath that each of the factual acknowledgments that you have initialed in this section are true and correct and accurate to the best of your ability?
Yes, ma'am.
Part 5 of this plea agreement, Your Honor, states that defendant's sentencing acknowledgments are as follows. Defendant understands fully that if he violates any provision or any special condition of this plea agreement, the district attorney can and will use the contents of this document and agreement during any judicial proceeding. Defendant understands fully that if he violates any provision or any special condition of this plea agreement, his probation for this sentence may be revoked in its entirety, and the district attorney will recommend that defendant serve any remaining portion of this sentence in confinement at the Georgia Department of Corrections or prison. Number 3, defendant understands fully that any violation of any provision or of any special condition of this plea agreement shall result in defendant being sentenced on count 30 of this indictment, and the district attorney will recommend that the defendant serve the maximum sentence allowed by law. Number 4, defendant understands fully that if prior to the conclusion of the initial trial of this case, defendant fails or refuses to testify to any fact that he acknowledges in this plea agreement, such failure or refusal nullifies any promise made by the district attorney to null pros count 30 of this indictment. Number 5, defendant understands fully that defendant's violation of any provision or of any special condition of this plea agreement prior to the conclusion of the initial trial of this case shall nullify any promise made by the district attorney to null pros count 30 of this indictment and may result in defendant being, and Your Honor, there is a typo that is in this document. It's the word should be being, and it's spelled B-E-G-I-N. I'm going to ask that defendant just strike through and initial that word, B-E-G-I-N.
I think
So, nigga, you not only had to snitch in words, nigga, you gotta snitch. You gotta write that shit down. You gotta snitch in handwriting.
To B-E-I-N-G.
You said it's like owl post. Right. You said, boy, that's a grown ass one. Y'all folks shit or talking about that late ass.
And Mr. Sledge, is that your initial above the strike through of the word began to change it to being?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And may result in defendant being sentenced to serve as much as 35 years of confinement in the Georgia Department of Corrections or prison. Number 6, defendant understands fully that no.
Hold up, wait a minute. So he can get he can get up to 35 years? Wait a minute. Let me get to this shit again.
Through of the word began to change it to being.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And may result in defendant being sentenced to serve as much as 35 years of confinement in the Georgia Department of Corrections.
Wait, hold up, wait a minute, I missed something.
Then initial right there.
Little initial right there. Come on.
B-E-G-I-N to be. The word should be being. Any promise made by the district attorney to null pros count 30 of this indictment, any provision or of any special condition of this plea agreement prior to the conclusion of the initial trial of this case shall nullify any promise made by the district attorney to null pros count 30 of this indictment and may result in defendant being, and Your Honor, there is a typo that is in this document. It's the word should be being and it's spelled B-E-G-I-N. I'm going to ask that defendant just strike through and initial that word, B-E-G-I-N to B-E-I-N-G.
Right through. Changes it to E. Then initial right there.
And Mr. Sledge, is that your initial above the strike through of the word began to change it to being?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And may result in defendant being sentenced to serve as much as 35 years of confinement in the Georgia Department of Corrections or prison.
So basically, if he don't testify to all that shit he said he seen, he can get 35 years in fucking jail, and he already agreed to 15 on paper. You said if I was his attorney, I would have got up and moved over like, you clearly don't need me. Man, I would have walked out that bitch. On everything, I would have got up. While they were like, where you going? Where you going? I got to go, man. I can't be a part of this shit. This nigga just basically agreed to 50 years.
Prison. Number 6, defendant understands fully that no promises, agreements, or conditions have been made other than those set forth in this document. Mr. Sledge, are these your initials on each section under defendant's sentencing acknowledgments?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Sledge, do you agree that the following statement is one that you have read, fully understood, and signed your name acknowledging? I, Antonio Sledge, have read and carefully reviewed this agreement. I have reviewed and corrected where necessary for accuracy each statement contained in defendant's factual acknowledgments, and I acknowledge the truth and accuracy of each and every statement listed therein. I fully understand this agreement, and I've had an opportunity to discuss this agreement and each of its provisions with my attorney, Mr. Derek Wright. No promises other than those contained in this document have been made to me in furtherance of this agreement. I freely, knowingly, and voluntarily enter into this agreement without force, threat, or coercion. Is that the statement that you acknowledged in this agreement?
Yeah, ma'am.
And is that the statement to which you signed your name underneath?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, the state tenders as evidence, State's Exhibit 1AS.
No. Any objection? States 1AS is admitted for purposes of plea.
Mr. Sledge, how do you plead to count to the charge of conspiracy to violate the Racketeer, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act as alleged in count 1 of indictment 22 SC 183572?
Guilty.
And how do you plead to count 30 of this indictment, 22 SC 183572, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon previously convicted of a felony involving the use or possession of a firearm?
Guilty.
Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with the full knowledge of the charges against you?
Yeah, ma'am.
Do you understand?
He's saying he agree, he understand. I don't think he truly understand. Okay, we say that he's 41 years old, but you can't always expect the age to determine somebody's maturity level or intellectual level. You know what I'm saying? Just because he's 41 years old don't mean that he understands everything that they saying. Like I said, out the gate, from the start of this motherfucking trial, that he basically saying, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, saying I would snitch and say whatever y'all want me to fucking say if y'all let me back on the streets. That's why he still saying, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. He ready to get out that jumpsuit. He ready to get way behind them bars. Stop eating that bullshit ass food, showering with other niggas. Barely can't even talk on the phone, can't see his people, his kids. Thank you, man. And that's all he understand. All you understand is go home. That's all you understand. And if he don't snitch 35 years, that's all you understand. He don't give a fuck about that 15 on papers. He gonna take that across the chin like a motherfucker. For real. You said, nigga, he 41 for yes, he 41 years old. At the beginning of the trial, he say 41 years old. The highest grade level he completed was 10th grade. This nigga don't understand. There's something wrong with him. He probably was in a remedial class or a behavioral class or alternative school or some shit before he dropped out. Nigga live a life of crime. You say you understand all that when you facing that much time. I'm guilty of all this and it's gonna help me. No, you don't. Everybody don't. You gonna base off your mental status. Everybody's mind don't work like that. Everybody's mind do not work the same. Everybody's mind do not work correctly. So I think he understand. I just think he banking on the info he gives. Shit, what else can he give him? He done gave him the goddamn kitchen sink and the dishes in that motherfucker. You said finishing high school don't guarantee you gonna know what all this means. Goddamn it, not finishing high school don't guarantee you gonna being 41. What I'm saying is being 41 years old. You know what I'm saying? Being 41 years old don't mean you're gonna understand everything that they fucking saying. That's what the fuck I'm saying. It's some niggas shit that with the college they don't understand what the fuck he's saying. I don't think he understand what the fuck he's saying. He said plea agreement is a contract, violate contract, in the next 15 you get 35. You get 35, they don't agree with the information he giving them. You said, so is Gunner still a rat if he had nothing to do with the street shit? They're guilty by association? Nigga, Gunner was a rat because he said he got caught in the car with Young Thug, with him, a gun, and some drugs, and it wasn't his. Who else was in the car? It was just y'all too. Nigga, that's snitch shit. That's rat shit. It ain't got to do with Gunner and snitch. The whole Rico shit when he said YSL the gang, he could have said, I don't know YSL the gang. I was signed there as an artist. You know what I'm saying? He could have said that shit, and he said, do you agree that you was riding the car with Jeffrey, and we pulled y'all over, and it was a gun, and it was some dope in there. It was a gun and some dope in there that it didn't belong to you. Right, it didn't belong to me. Well, who the fuck it belonged to? Couldn't belong to nobody. That's a snitch. That's a snitch move. I don't think he understand. I don't think he understand, bro. You said if he lied about one thing, this 15 years probation goes away. Right, 35 years. Fuck the 15 years probation go by 35 years. He just said that because it's up to the lawyers to prove this shit. I hear that all the time. Yeah, it's up to them to prove that shit, but it came out your mouth. You said I can't give him no info unless I'm getting all the way off every fucking thing. No charges. Fuck that probation shit either way. For real. We landed. Hey, we off or we fighting on everything. I'm free or we fighting. Fuck that shit. You want me to snitch and you tell me I'm still go to jail 35 years? You said YSL is a gang made the RICO case valid. Because they keep saying that shit. That's the only reason they still trying them in the same fucking case. You said it's a RICO case, everybody going to jail or they snitch. There's no way around it. It's a way around it. It's definitely a way around it. So the thug ain't say that shit was his. If he did, they wouldn't have asked. Right, that's what I'm saying. They could turn around and ask Thug. Thug can be like, that shit wasn't mine. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't mine. You said Thug gonna take a plea too? I don't know about that. He said he done went from hanging with millionaires to working as a janitor who smokes cigarettes and blacks. Disclaimers, nothing wrong with being a janitor. Keisha, you the one said it, not us. Ain't nothing wrong being a janitor though, but you the one saying it like it's a bad thing. It came out of your mouth. You said, Run, I think he fully understands everything he doing. He knows in order to get my ass out of this shit, I gotta snitch. At this point, he said, fuck him. At this point, he gotta snitch. But you gotta understand. Nigga, look at what he agreeing to. What this nigga, that's what we is amazed by, is he don't understand what he agreeing to. He understands snitch and get out. He understand that. Man, that nigga ain't understanding that. If they don't believe you, it don't matter if you telling the truth. What this nigga, you would tell me you had a motherfucking fish sandwich with hot sauce on it and motherfucking 100 wheat bread, and I could be like, man, no, the fuck you did. I ain't gotta believe you just cause you said it. And then he can get 35 years behind that shit. So you gonna snitch. They gotta put you in witness protection. Man, look here. I'm not doing that shit. Whatever he did, drive-by shooting at a nigga cause he fuck your bitch. You know what I'm saying? Sitting out at McDonald's talking about the nigga y'all just killed. I'm not doing that stupid shit. Cause I don't want these problems. Being off for 35 years if I don't snitch. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. I'm not putting myself in this situation. Cause I know me. I'm a snitch, bitch. If I didn't shoot the nigga, I'm snitching. That's me. I don't care how y'all handle the situation. I ain't agreed to go to jail for life for now, nigga. So I know how I'ma handle it. But you 41 years old, part of this organization, made plenty of money off this shit, and you did the crimes with them. You shouldn't be snitching. You shouldn't be doing the crimes if you know you're gonna snitch. I'm not doing drive-bys because if I'm not the one that pulled the trigger, I'm gonna tell who pulled the trigger. Because you're not finna get me for life. And I don't give a damn y'all call Run and snitch or not, motherfucker. That's just what it is. I'm telling the truth. So you shot Lil Rico, man, I ain't shooting nobody. Fuck you talking about? You can test my hands for gunshot residue. I ain't pulling down motherfucking trigger. That's all I'm gonna say. Cause 9 times out of 10, I ain't trying to be around niggas doing no stupid shit anyway. Attorney should have done an IQ testing before you play it to the charge. The facts, I agree. So who's the public defender so I can run him? I know you heard of him. I don't know. We probably ain't never heard of him before this trial. So them rap niggas about to leave Atlanta. All they houses for sale, Utah, here we come, man. Look, like you said, them niggas better go back to leaning and snapping and shit and popping and twerking. Nay, whatever they call it. They better go back to all this shit because they ass dropping like for either dying or going to jail, that motherfucker.
Understand that you may have only a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have only 4
Yo, are you still trying to lose weight with X?
Man, come on, no, I ain't trying to lose no weight. I'm trying to goddamn watch the rest of this trial.
years from today for a felony charge and 12 months from today for a misdemeanor charge to file what is known as a habeas corpus petition challenging the voluntariness of this guilty plea.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, the state will now provide a factual basis for this plea.
All right. Go ahead, ma'am, whenever you're
Your
ready.
Honor, if this case were to go to trial, the state believes that the evidence will prove beyond a reasonable doubt against this defendant that the defendant, together with indicted and unindicted co-conspirators in Fulton County, on or between January the 24th, 2013 and May 8th of 2022 did unlawfully conspire to acquire, maintain directly and indirectly an interest in and control of United States money and other personal property through a pattern of racketeering activity. Furthermore, defendant did unlawfully conspire to conduct and participate in directly and indirectly such enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. The enterprise, Your Honor, as described in this indictment, and as the state expects the evidence will show, is called Young Slime Life, also known as YSL. And during the time listed in the indictment, the defendant, along with others, conspired to associate together and with others for the common.
I don't agree with it. You said it's sad to say, but Thug following the code is gonna be his downfall. No, it's not. Him want to be a murderer is gonna be his fucking downfall. Him want to call shots and send other niggas out to kill other niggas is gonna be his downfall. Some stupid ass shit is gonna be his downfall.
Purpose of illegally obtaining money and property through a pattern of racketeering activity and conducting and participating in this enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. The objectives of the conspiracy included, but were not limited to, protecting, preserving, and enhancing the reputation, power, and territory of the enterprise through acts of racketeering activity, including murder, assault, and threats of violence, preserving, protecting, and enhancing the reputation, power, and territory of the enterprise by the posting of messages, images, videos, and songs demonstrating allegiance to the enterprise and a willingness to engage in violence on its behalf.
So now they got school songs and shit. You know what I'm saying? So that now they're pledging allegiance to Slime Life. Basically what she's saying, they got songs praising the enterprise. I ain't heard no song praising Slime Life of YSL. Have y'all? Have y'all heard a gang song like that? A posse song? Because 3-6, why they ain't hit 3-6 with the goddamn Rico charge? Many nigga, they didn't got them signed and got posse songs and shit. 3-6 Mafia's a fucking gang. Been a gang for years. They ain't hit that with the Rico. They gave their ass a Grammy. He said Rico cases were made to take down the whole entire gang from the leader down to anybody connected. There's no way to get out of jail at the time unless you snitch or you still get it. Know that already. You ain't telling us what to know. Funny how Thug paid little baby to stay out the street. Should have took his all the body. Right. Should have paid his goddamn self to sit down somewhere.
Obtaining money, weapons, and other property through acts of racketeering activity, including robbery, theft, and the unlawful sale and distribution of drugs.
You said they can only say what the defendant and the lawyer spoke about. They can only say what your lawyer tells you to say. I was facing 35 too. They can only what you tell them. You said they can only say what the defendant and the lawyer spoke about. That means what you told your lawyer. You said the co-signer said it's a gang. Everybody said it was a gang to get out. Said 3-6 Mafia lead them out there. I'm just telling the truth, nigga. He said 3-6 got the key to the city and definitely been a gang terrorizing this bitch for years. Still is a gang. Said anybody would have a brain with her Slime Life and be like, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I would have been said I'm good.
Your Honor, YSL is an enterprise consisting of a group of individuals associated in fact. It constitutes an ongoing organization whose associates function as a continuing unit for the common purpose of achieving its objectives. YSL is a criminal street gang that started in late 2012 in the Cleveland Avenue of Atlanta, Georgia. Their identifiers vary, and they use common identifiers including colors, clothing, tattoos, and hand signs, as well as verbal and written identifiers, Your Honor. Your Honor, in furtherance of the conspiracy and to effect its object.
Recordings just got better.
Man, come on with that shit now. You two, y'all fucking greedy. Let's watch the goddamn trial.
and purposes, this defendant committed overt acts which reflect his tacit agreement to participate in the enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. Those overt acts include, but are not limited to, the defendant's possession of cocaine with the intent to distribute, as alleged in number Act 8 of Count 1 on November the 29th.
So what? This is basically the nigga that they got all the evidence in the world on him to make him snitch on everybody else. This is the nigga that they got all the evidence on the world. They got this nigga selling crack, selling cocaine. They got him, goddamn it, drive-bys. They got his ass on convicted felon with a firearm. They got him on everything. That's why he's snitching on every fucking body. They don't got him. They ain't got him in nothing dealing with the RICO charge. Like he nothing gang related. All the shit is on his own. Like everything that he being tried for is stupid shit on his own. He did a drive-by. He was a convicted felon with a fucking gun. He sold dope. So why is he snitching on everybody else to drop these charges that he committed? It's not making sense. Because I don't think y'all hearing what I'm hearing. He right. He keep getting fucking caught. You keep getting caught. You was already a felon and you had a gun. And then he was a felon that committed a drive-by. And then he was a felon trying to sell crack. What the fuck, nigga? Like, why is you snitching on everybody else? You got caught doing this shit. Nobody got caught with you. This has nothing to do with the RICO charge.
9th of 2013. The defendant's commission of the aggravated assault as listed in defendant's factual acknowledgement on April the 28th of 2015. The defendant's commission of Act 45 in Count 1 on April the 28th of 2015, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. The defendant's commission of Act 46, as alleged in Count 1 of the indictment on April the 28th of 2015, of participation in criminal street gang activity. The defendant's posing while an associate of YSL for a photo released on social media wearing pants with the letters OTS, standing for Only the Slime, with the caption of OGs with the green snake emoji and green heart emoji on April the 8th of 2021, as alleged in Act 128 of Count 1 of this indictment. And
I'm not a judge. I've been fell asleep. I would have been told, oh, look, that's enough, goddamn. I get it. He gonna tell. Fuck.
Act 151 of Count 1 on December 5th, 2021, as alleged in Count 1 of this indictment, wherein defendant possessed a firearm while previously convicted of a felony involving the use or the possession of a firearm. Your Honor, as the defendant acknowledged in State's Exhibit 1AS, defendant has been associated with YSL since 2012 and has committed the acts that are contained in this plea agreement as well, which also reflect defendant's tacit agreement to participate in this enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. Your Honor, the defendant, as I stated earlier, has pled guilty to the commission of acts along with other YSL associates in furtherance of the gang YSL, Specifically, Your Honor, beginning back in January of 2015, after the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr. in Fulton County, a series of retaliatory shootings between YSL and the organization of which Mr. Thomas.
Now we get into the good part. Now they bullshit. Then we get into the good shit.
Was a member began to occur. One of the retaliatory shootings is the one that is listed in defendant's factual acknowledgments in State's Exhibit 1AS. Your Honor, as recently as this year, earlier this year, the murder of yet another person whom the organization considered a rival, Mr. Shamel Drinks, took place, turning 2022 into sort of a repeat of 2015. Your Honor, the defendant has knowingly, voluntarily, and willingly signed this plea agreement. And as a result of the defendant's willingness to be forthcoming and to be truthful and to own responsibility for his actions, the state is willing to make the recommendation that I've relayed to the court, and we ask that the court accept this negotiated plea agreement. Your Honor, that is all that the state has. If the court will permit me 1 moment, please.
Okay.
She said it's all the state have, goddamn it. The judge probably does. Nod the fuck off. That's all y'all got. This nigga done got to lean it up against the wall. This shit, they been standing up for a long time. They what more information? He said, like Mr. B said, time to go to trial. He can't go to trial. He can't go to trial. The shit they got on him. I don't understand the snitching on somebody else because your ass got caught. Wasn't nobody even doing this shit with you. You was doing this shit by yourself.
That is all that I have, Judge. Again, we would just ask that the court sentence the defendant to 15 years of probation on count 1. As to count 2, we would ask that the court withhold sentencing until after the completion of the initial trial of this case, and after the initial trial of this case, provided that the defendant has complied with the special conditions outlined and contained in the plea agreement. Your Honor, the state agrees that the defendant shall be allowed to withdraw that guilty plea on count 30, and the state shall agree and will agree to no loss on count 30. Now, further,
Mr. Wright is well. He's Mr. Sledge in the sense already. This kind of release him.
Your Honor, he have closed out. Won't you get the time?
Yeah.
Judge, the case that was referenced that he pled guilty to before for the ag assault is closed. So he's not currently under an active sentence.
The issue is going to be is that he's got no sentence on that particular count 30. So I'm not going to have to get bond. I made bond already. Sentencing on count 30.
He made bun already.
Initially, when he was arrested for count 30, he was given a $31,000 bond that he made. So
that bond still remains.
That bond is still in effect for that, I guess, underlying charge.
Never trust a nigga in a wringle suit.
Right now.
In this case, there's no bond set. We don't know if that was the previous indictment, but as of this case, 22 SC 183572, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, no longer.
Your Honor, if I may.
Sure.
The state has no objection to the court granting a signature bond as to that count, subject to any restrictions that the court feels necessary to place on the defendant, and considering the fact that the defendant has now pled guilty to that charge.
Restrictions that should not be in. This is a delicate and delicate disposition. Normally, we do not hold over the counts, but for the clerk's office reasons, we have to fashion it this way. You can only do count one and then count 30 as a bond. That is the only way we can do it. So he's really in custody. Either they can give him probation on that count, and then once he completes all the conditions, they can come back and do an order, not crossing back the count. So before the state does these type of disciplines, they need to check with the clerk's office to see what is the criteria that needs to be met before the passion of these type of disciplines. Because I was told, once I made the phone call, he will not get out of this chamber. He will not get out. Either off of probation or not crossing down and just on the back end, but the conditions always come back. But try to get out.
Your Honor, with the court permit the state a moment to confer with Mr. Wright and to ensure that we.
Sure. You got one several. You got one of a couple. You just can't do it this way.
Damn, that nigga got warrants everywhere. He probably be out on bond for a charge already. The judge don't wanna let him out of jail, but the nigga like already made bond on this shit. But the judge ain't trying to hear that shit. He ain't trying to let him out because he said nigga got warrants everywhere. I don't know. Let's just see how this shit play out.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll put my recess.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, go back. Hold up.
To that count, subject to any restrictions that the court feels necessary to place on the defendant, and considering the fact that the defendant has now pled guilty to that charge.
Restrictions that should not be in. This is a delicate and delicate disposition. Normally, we do not hold over the counts, but for the clerk's office reasons, we have to fashion it this way. You can only do count one and then count 30 as a bond. That is the only way we can do it. So he's really in custody. If you don't do either they can give him probation on that count, and then once he completes all the conditions, they can come back and do an order, not crossing back the count. So before the state does these types of disciplines, they need to check with the clerk's office to see what is the criteria that needs to be met before the passion of these types of disciplines.
So before the court making a ruling saying that his ass is out on bond on that charge, they need to check with the clerk office and see what the fuck going on. Has all criteria has been met?
Because I was told, once I made the phone call, he will not get out of this chamber. He will not get out. Either off of probation or not crossing down and just on the back end, because the conditions they can always come back. But try to get out.
Your Honor, with the court permit the state a moment to confer with Mr. Wright and to ensure that we.
Sure. You got one several. You got one of a couple. You just can't do it this way.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll put my recess.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Man, if you can't sit down behind them walls for what the fuck you do, don't do it. That's all I gotta say. That's my advice to y'all. Cause that we just see right there the goat of snitching right there. My nigga snitched on everybody else So he won't have to be, well, he said he guilty for all the shit he did, but to take a lesser charge, he decided to goddamn snitch on everybody else. Yeah, Netflix in the making. It's gonna be probably investigation ID type shit. I don't know about Netflix, but I will be watching this shit on Investigation Discovery. You know what I'm saying? Brother sit here and for the 3 charges they had on him, decided he was gonna snitch on everybody else to get his time cut. So I don't understand it. I'm still lost. He's gonna snitch on everybody else in YSL. He seen do anything or no did anything just so he won't have to go to jail for a drive-by he committed, go to jail for crack he sold, and go to jail for him being a felon in possession of a firearm. He had nothing to do with that murder. You know what I'm saying? He had nothing to do with that murder. He wasn't the right-hand man. Thug wasn't telling him to do shit. But he decided he gonna snitch on everything he knows for YSL to get 15 years on paper. And if he decides not to testify or not be truthful in his snitching, the court gonna give him 35 years. This is the dumbest shit in goddamn it, paid in full history. Who else is snitching? Rico for paid in full, Frank Lucas, 6ix9ine. This is the worst snitcher in the history of snitching, goddammit. He ain't even getting shit out of snitching. You still getting 15 years on paper. And the reason they give you 15 years on paper because they watch you for 10 years and then they didn't arrest you when you did the shit. So that's why they put your ass on paper. You said I was done at the address of the gas station. I fuck that. How you sit down? McDonald's of all, because niggas like grown ass niggas like, I ain't eat no fucking McDonald's. But y'all meet up at the McDonald's and talk about a nigga y'all just killed. You said, was Thug when he went to jail? Was Thug praying when he went to jail? I don't know. Because one day that day come on turn. So they really want Thug to tell Birdman, the only rap minister dude talking, trying to walk with a $500 million. I don't think Birdman had nothing to do with it, though. I don't think Birdman had nothing to do with it. Think Birdman didn't like it. I don't think Birdman had nothing to do with it. If he did, he gave Thug a lot of money to pull that shit out for him, but they didn't gain nothing in the end. They didn't gain shit in the end. So with that being said, hey, y'all know how this goes. Nigga been up for an hour and a half, shared this information with y'all. I gave my opinions on the information and how I feel about it. Everybody have their own opinion and their own feelings about the situation, but we can't change it. You know what I'm saying? We not the DA, we're not the prosecutor, we're not the judge. Like I said, these people be entertainers, they be rappers, they be actors, they be whatever, actress. We don't know them. We don't know them their personal life on how they act. We don't know if they're guilty or not. You know what I'm saying? So we can't be mad at any outcome of this trial because we don't know. We don't know him. He can smile for the cameras. He can pay for 30 people to get out of jail and give toys out for Christmas. That don't mean his ass ain't evil. That don't mean he ain't the money. You said Wallow tried to tell on through. Right. So you said so he had 30 counts against him. What's his IQ? He said he went to the 10th grade, but has that been verified? I don't even know. You said Birdman gonna tell too? Oh, definitely. If they lock him up, his ass snitching. All that money he got, he want to get home, spend some money and fuck some niggas in the ass. He gonna snitch. He gonna tell. But jail might be the place for him because he gay. Jail might be the place for his ass. Anyway, I appreciate everybody that pulled up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you've been rocking with me, hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? And anytime I get any more information on any one of these cases, because we ain't got nothing on the Shanquilla Robinson case. Ain't nobody been arrested. Ain't nobody been extradited. Mexico is threatening to show the crime scene photos on the internet if they don't tear up and send them people over there. I don't know what's going on in this situation. People just making up shit. Ain't nothing changed. Nobody been sent back to Mexico. Ain't nobody been arrested. I don't know. Once I get more information on, we'll talk about it. But until then, if it ain't information, if it ain't real solid information, I don't make up shit. I give y'all a real deal. You know what I'm saying? You got any real information I ain't got, and you want to send it to me? My YouTube is it's_run. It's_run. Yeah, without the H. It's_run. Send me your info. You know what I'm saying? Send it to my DM. I'll look over it. If I feel like it's valid, I feel like it's goddamn it some real news, some shit I ain't got. We'll goddamn it, we'll holler at this shit. But other than that, y'all be safe. Enjoy the rest of y'all night. I'm gonna holler at y'all.